Welcome everybody. In this section, we will talk about destructuring and spread. It's very important for JavaScript. When you develop application, most of the time we destructure arrays and objects, and we spread also arrays and objects. It seems that most of the time we use destructuring and spread with arrays and objects. And in this lesson, we will see the nitty-gritty of data structuring, the destructuring and as for spreading. Yes, so first let's create another folder. I think that would be much better because it's something different. So I call it destructuring and spread. Yes, inside here, I will just first create this destructuring.js. Yeah, and of course, I need to have one index.html file. Now, for some reason, this is just changing to another. Let me just change this to HTML. Then let's generate HTML page and link that script. Yeah. Script. Yeah, you know that script is also an HTML tag. So let's link the destructuring.js file and we can create our JavaScript over here. One HTML page was running, so let's stop that by clicking over here and let's run this one. Okay, I can run it and it should start spinning over here. And let me just also put this in the other side because it's so easy to see our code and the page. Yeah, so let's just write alert if it's connected, if this page is connected. Yeah, so it's set linked. Instead, it's better to say link. We were talking about destructuring. So maybe it's also good to say here, maybe give it title destructuring, and yeah, it would be nice for us to associate, right? Or I have to go to the file. Now I think I would be happy if I just follow this document. We're talking about destructuring. What do we destructure? We can only destructure arrays and objects. Okay, only these data types. Okay, then let's start with arrays. Okay, I think if I write numbers and if I say 1, 2, 3, I think it's so clear that you know we have just stored 1 to 3 in this. Yeah, it's an array and it's stored in the numbers variable. So if we want to access one by one, I should say console.log numbers, and then I have to say 0 to get the first item, right? I think I should open it to Control-Shift-I, and I can open this. And if I'm interested to get the second item, console.log numbers, and then 1. And again, console.log numbers, and then 2 to get. Or another way, I have to use for of maybe const to one of the num or n of numbers, and then I have to iterate one after another each item, something like this. Or you can use a for each. You may say numbers dot for each, and then one of the item, and I can go for and console, don't do that, console.log in. Great, as you can see, or you can use the regular for. So there is many ways to do that. This way or this way, or maybe I can also show you with regular for loop for let I is equal to 0, I less than numbers dot lengths and I plus plus, and then we can say console.log numbers, and then we have to use the index, right? Yeah, this way, or this way, or this way could be possible whenever we want to get the values from long list, from long array. But sometimes when we have a shorter array like this, I think we can use destructuring. Okay, how do we write destructuring? Okay, I can take this down. Instead of doing this, we can say actually, let's the first item, first, second, and the third, and we can just numbers. That means this is associated with this one, and this to this, and the third to the third item. And if you try now console.log first item, you should get 1. Yep. And if you do second item, you should get 2. And third item, you should get 3. Yeah, that is actually destructuring of arrays, which are round, by the way. Type 1 for me if you are in the room. I just type 1 for me. Okay, great. Now, but sometimes you may not need all the items. How about if you just want the first item? You don't have to do all that like that. You can just do the first item. Of course, now we don't have this, right? So since we don't have those parameters, we can this. Or maybe you may not need the second item, but you need the third. In that case, actually, you should have just comma. Have you seen this? Just comma. You need the comma. No, sorry. I have to remove this because we don't have second. Now, as you can see, 1 and 3. And maybe sometimes you may need the first item, and in case if you want the rest together, dot the rest. And what we get actually, if you print rest, that means the rest of the item. Yeah, one we have structured it as an item, but the rest are actually still as in a list. Okay, then let's try it with a more. As you can see, I have names, list of names, my name and someone's name, another person's name, up to John. How many names do I have over here? As you can see, 4 names. And then I'm destructuring here first name to this person, the second person goes to Brooke, and the third person goes to David, and the fourth person, this has to be connected, okay? It's just a typo, and the fourth person going to be John. And then when you print out, you should get this. Oh yeah, great. And now another more.
Sorry, I just have a question. Is this rest? Is this a keyword?
No.
Dot.
No.
This can be anything.
Yes, anything.
Okay.
Anything over here. And let's see again. Yeah, have you seen that?
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. Let's get back here. Now I just put some scientific constants like 2.72, 3.14, 9.81, 37 body temperature, boiling point of water, and whatever numbers you put, you can put it here, right? And now, okay, E goes to here, the pi is going to 3.1, gravity 9, body temperature, and boiling temperature of water, and scientific. As you can see now, I can get 1 by 1. Okay, And again, I have here a full stack. The full stack is just like, what is that? What? I thought I copied it. Okay, let's try the copy. Now, as you can see, but what? Yeah. I just copied also something I didn't want. We have this, the full stack variable, and the full stack actually got list of lists. The first list are actually HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React. And the second is another list or array and Node, Express, and MongoDB. This looks like somehow backend language, and these are responsible for front end, right? So if I want to destructure this value, I can say const and then square bracket, X and Y. For the time being, I will give them a proper name later. Then console.log, what's the value of X? You may expect this array. As you can see, oh yeah, but so we can call this front end, and let's change front end, or maybe just let's just make it somehow a proper kind of JavaScript variable. And then Y, let's just also call the second server side or maybe back end. And of course, I can just say back end. Great. Oh yeah, we managed to actually destructure. Can we destructure also deep inside? Yes, by the way, we can destructure deep inside here. How? Okay, maybe let's try differently. We may say after that, if we do something like that, the item, for instance, first, second, let's try with this, and then we don't have any more here, first and second. I think I changed the order should be the other way. It should be 2. Okay, I think I've just forgot the structure a bit. Okay, we have, let me see. We have front end. Both here, now destruction, we can deep inside, we can structure deep inside. But now, not to complicate the example, let me just keep like that for the time being, and we can go deep inside if we really need later. Yes, so as you can see also, we have here some kind of, yeah, this the kind of example also I showed you some time ago. Here, now I have this, okay? And you can use this, the for const country, like as in of countries, and then you can loop. So then console.log and see, as yeah, I'm just getting like Finland, Helsinki, Sweden, Stockholm. So the first, the second item, the first, the second item. So I can destructure this value by saying the first is actually the country and the second is actually the city. So I'm destructuring them. And if I say country and city, now, yep, it has been structured and I have this value. Great. So you can also destructure while you are looping. So now, actually, for some reason, I jumped when I was scrolling down. This example should have been after that. So, but it's okay because there's no connection in between. You have seen that I managed to destructure this one also, as you can see. And maybe how about if you are also loop through this height? If you loop through, you may say for const x in not full stack, and then you may say console.log x. You should, yeah, as you can see, the first item, the second item. And now you can loop through, maybe if you are interested, for instance, I can say const and or let, but I don't like this X. I may call it maybe take, the technologies, and then console.log the take. As you can see, one time is going to be this, this, this. And now you can loop through this take, but actually you can go here, front end, and back end. Can we do that? Because as you can see, HTML, CSS, Node, and Express, but this is not smart because the reason why when we are looping, actually we are getting this value, and from this value, this was going for the HTML and the CSS, and the second time go for the two items, and that's not proper. I think this is not that much it's not, it doesn't have a structure to destructure it while you are, but after looping, you can go here, but the name tag would be much better, and console.log and take again. And now we can, for instance, destructure them, but since it's inside a loop again, the destructuring might not be very handy because the names would be very different. Const, and if you say first and second, so this first and second is going to have different values at every time. If you see, for instance, console.log first and second, as you can see, HTML and CSS, but if you go up to the third item, maybe we can have all from, but still, it's just okay to use a proper loop instead of destructuring for this. A destructuring object. Now let's move on to destructuring object. I have here, okay, a very good example of rectangle. May have a width, height, and area. The area is, by the way, it's this multiplied by this, it's 200, right? Oh yeah. So how do I get the value, guys? To get the value, there is one is actually console.log. We say rectangle, and then we say width, right? One way to get. Or another way, we can say just the dot with the dot and the property, this. The same goes for the height and the area, right? How about or maybe for const a key in rectangle, and then you may loop through, right? Then console.log. Okay, don't do that. Console.log the key and all the, but still we are just getting one of the key. Instead, we can say width, rectangle, and then if I pass the key every now and then, I can get all the values, right? Yeah, these are the different, but you know, There's a very handy way of destructuring the data. So how do we do that? So far, as you can see, what we saw is just the standard way using the property widths, for instance. What is here? It should be widths. And as you can see now, 20. Or it could be widths or height or area. How about, do we have perimeter, for instance? Console.log rectangle dot is it perimeter? Do we have a perimeter? No. As you can see, it's undefined because we don't have a perimeter. Now, let's so it's okay if you don't have the key in a object, and if you try to get the value gets actually undefined. That's what I want to show here. Okay, now the best way is actually destructuring is so powerful, and I want to just comment this out first. Oh no, wait, it doesn't work. Maybe let me try it differently. Yes. Destructuring is a bit what you should see, what you should write, and then like this. And then you have to bring your object, rectangle. What do you want to get out from here? Oh, widths. But the difference between destructuring rectangle and array, when it comes to array, the order matters. The order really matters. What do I mean by the order? As you can see, this one should match to this, and this should match to this, and this match to this. This value, this variable name could be any name. You can call it one, you can call it the first, or whatsoever. Yeah, so it just depends. As you can see, first name or name, the first person, the first whatever name is possible here. When you are, what it matters the most is the sequence. Asabina is the first person, and you have to put it here. If you want Brooke, it should be the second. But in a rectangle, we should target the proper key. We don't give a random name. Widths should be existing here. And then does the order matter? No. Height, yes, there should be height. Area, yes. Now we destructured this value out, and let's try if it really did. So widths and the height and the area. Oh yeah, okay. How about if I try? Did I tell you that rectangle dot perimeter, when we were destructuring, we got undefined because it doesn't exist. I mean, when without destructuring. Now let's try with destructuring by writing here. How about if we try perimeter, even though it doesn't exist? What do we get? So let's perimeter. Oh, I forgot to close it. Okay, great. So undefined, but yeah, it's undefined. So, but as you can see, when you destructure, actually, even you may have a chance to give maybe default value if you want. Default value, for instance, I can give it 200. Now it's not anymore. Actually, the perimeter calculation could be 20 and 20, 40, it should be 60, right? So let's just put 60. As you can see, even when we are destructuring, there's a possibility to pass a default value in case it doesn't have a value. Great. Yeah, this is very important value. Okay. I mean, property where, okay, whatever. let's move on. Yeah, I think I have the same example over here. Object parameters without structuring. I'm just showing here an example so you know how to do with that. For instance, I have this, I think it's better if I show you. Now I'm just having here calculate perimeter is a function that take I'm just calling it rectangle, but it's just call it an object, yeah, and I can just call it object just good this. So object.with plus, as you can see, this is just without destructuring. What if we destructure it? So instead, it would be somehow different. First, I have to comment this out, maybe copy, and let me just show you underneath. This has to be destructured like this. How it is changed to finish, huh? Like this, a width and a height. And now you don't have to do this calculation also. I mean, extracting, just accessing. This is prettier, right? I think more clean for me. But how about if you have a data also like this? And actually I created this, the get person info. This get person info, I will show you. The get person info takes an object, and this object got something like this: first name, last name, age, country, job, skills, and language. And the output you get at the end, actually, it looks like Sabine Taich lives in Finland. Yeah, he is 200 years old. Why not? He is an instructor and developer. He teaches HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Redux, Node, MongoDB, Python, and D3.js. He speaks Amharic, English, and a little bit of this. Okay, whatsoever. So the first code looks like this without destructuring. But after destructuring, the latest code looks like this, much cleaner. As you can see, what you pass is actually first name, last name, age, and then I formatted the skills because, as you can see, it says even and. And I formatted the skills, I formatted the language, and then I just use string interpolation and return the person info, this one. That's all. But here, lots of dots and lots of dots, so that's a little bit clumsy. So this destructuring is very powerful. Yep. Now, maybe if I even want to destructure this more, now I want to show you how we can destructure this. Yeah. Because I'm showing you without the destructor. First, I have to take this person object. I have to have a copy, and I will show you how I can destructure. This should be destructured like this. Yeah, as you can see, you have first name, last name, age. First name, last name, age. I have to check. Country, job, skills. Country, job, skills. What else? And then languages. Yeah. So now I have to remove all the objects. So then this means this line is not any more important. Yeah. So I don't need this line. So skills is already here. So we don't need. This line is not any more important. Yeah, great. After that, I have to remove all this. Yeah. Now let's see what's left. I think this we managed to destructure. Is there possible to destructure it more? I think this is good enough already. So let's try to call this function console.log then get person, and I have to pass the person object. When I pass the person object, it has to be destructured over there. Yeah, I think as you can see, I am Sabine who lives in Finland. He is 250 years old and whatsoever. So I got this information. So it's very important to know how to destructure objects. Let's move on. Yeah, we have seen that already. And now I think, how do we use the spread instead of this? An example that shows you how to destructure, by the way, guys. For instance, I think, let me show you this very good. Before I move on to next one, if you have a structure like this, and you may look through for const to do in to-do list. I have a to-do list over there, and now you can just say console.log the to-do. And let's see, I think I have to move it to the other side. Yeah, have you seen all the to-dos, task, time, and completed? But you are getting it as an object. Yeah, so as we have learned, we can just destructure it from here, that task. Yep. And what are the properties we have? Time. Yeah, but I'm wrong. I should use curly bracket, task, because it's an object, time, and then completed. Now I can access the task and the time and the if it's completed or not, one after another. Yes, so this is a very clean code, guys. So you can do something like this. While you are looping, you can use also this. Now let's go to the spread operator. Did I tell you that we have, for instance, I think after this we talk about just the spread operator. And as I told you that this nums we like got from 1 to 10, how many items? 10 now. Now let's destructure, array destructure. For instance, if I say 1, 2, 3, I'm destructuring actually the first items, the first 3 items, right? Is it clear so far? Yes. Yes. Console.log 1, 2, and 3. I'm just whatever name you can give. If I just want the rest of the items, but I'm not interested in 4, I'm not interested in 5, I'm not interested in 6, but how about if I'm interested in the rest after 6? And what is that? Okay, I think really rest has been declared somewhere. Yes, I think we have used the rest somewhere. Where here oh, it seems it's the first time we're using. Now rest is not defined. 137. Oh, yeah, I didn't finish the, okay, I didn't finish it. Okay, so it's not here what I should do, guys, sorry, here inside. So, but if I'm not interested in 4, 5, and 6, but after that, maybe you say dot dot rest. Now, so this actually we are 1, 2, 3. If we are not interested, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, I think we have only 8, 9, 10. In the rest, we may see. So I have to see the rest. Yeah. As I told you, 8, 9, 10. So we can even skip. If you don't want to, if you don't want to, you can remove it from here and you can use a comma, additional comma, and that's actually skipping an item. Yeah. Yes. But why is it 4 instead of, because as you can see, we skipped 2 items here. Just, yeah, 1 and 3. Great. I made this is very good example, and let's look through this. And as you can see, Germany, France, Belgium, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Iceland. Okay, great. Now let's destructure this, guys. F for Finland, no, sorry, G for Finland, F for maybe I think France and Belgium, and that's good enough, right? But I want to call the race Scandinavian, so dot rest. This the rest. Yeah, is it a reserved word? Nope. You can call them the rest of the countries, and then you can wear the name countries. Now, if you console.log in the rest of the countries, you should have the Scandinavian countries. Yeah. Let's see again what countries has been declared somewhere else. 139. We did 139. Where is it? That's good. Oh. Declare 139. Yeah, I think it's the first time we're declaring it. Please. Did we declare countries before? I thought no. I think yeah. It seems so. Yeah, it seems so. It's here. Let's comment this out. Great. Now, as you can see, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Iceland are really Scandinavian countries. Yes. So it came from this destructuring. So the spread operator allow us to pack them together. Yeah, we destructured some of the countries here, for instance, Germany, France, and Belgium were destructured out, and the rest has been actually, they packed them together as in a list. So it has also sometimes a kind of a packing property. Actually, in Python, we call it packing and unpacking instead of destructuring. Okay, so as you can see here, we have numbers, the even numbers. If I just say dot dot, I'm just copying, by the way. This is a copy. Evens, dot dot evens, I'm just copying. What you get here and here, it's the same. Odds, dot dot odds, it's just the same. But now, if you see, dot 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 evens and dot 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 odds, now I am mixing these guys and these guys. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. The order should be remain the same. Let me show you. I am not going to write that over again because I wrote it once upon a time and no need to, we don't need this. That's just an example. We don't need this line, but we have two arrays, the evens and the odds. So now the mix, and let's just imagine whole numbers are numbers that starts from 0 and has all the odds and the evens together. Let's just print this console.log and whole numbers. As you can see, the first items are the evens, and after that are actually the odds, as you can see. Yep, I hope it's just appending after that. It's not just a mix, but append. If you go HTML in this, and then backend, dot front end, and dot backend, and now actually we're creating again a full stack, and it looks like this. That's the power of spread operator. Okay, now let's move on to object. The use of a spread operator use object. Do you see this user? It's an object. It has 4 keys: name and my name, title, programmer, country, Finland, and city, Helsinki. And of course, this is one way to copy this. Copy. I'm just doing a copy, by the way. Copied, and I named copied. Okay. Are we really copying this? I have to show you. Because you have that, and let's say one is to copied user could be created by dot, and then the user. Let's just console.log and copied a user and check. Yeah, it's good, it's great, but let's also print the original user. But let me just modify the copied user. Copied user maybe is going to have some skills, for instance, and let's give him some skill, HTML, and then CSS and JS. It could be enough. And now let's just print down and see if there's a difference. Okay, this usually it's very good to say original user, copied user, because you never know where it's coming from. Yeah, the original user, let's see. Yep, and the copied user got additional skills. So when we were modifying the copied user, we didn't modify the original. So that means very good, actually. Yeah, so that's very good. So we are copying it properly with a spread operator. That's one purpose. And it's also good to modify. What does that mean, modify? While actually copying like this, you can say instantly, for instance, title, or you may say title, maybe instead of programmer, if I say developer, at the very beginning, it just the copied user title is developer. It's not the same as the original. How about also just creating a new nationality, for instance, nationality, and if I say Ethiopian, and let's see also, we have also created actually a new key while we are copying. So this spread operator allows you, one, to copy. Second, while you are copying, also, if you are interested to create a copy of the original with some difference, yeah, that's also possible. It's very powerful, right? Yeah, and you may need this feature in many places. Yeah. Spread operator with a row function, guys, if you remember when we do some add add nums. This usually, for instance, some functions may take unlimited number of arguments. Console.log add nums, and you may say maybe 2, 4, 3, 1, 5, 6, whatsoever, you know. How do you add those together? We have this spread operator. So maybe if I try console.log, the arguments, we have these arguments in function declaration, or yeah, but it's not in here. Instead, we should say ... in maybe args or whatsoever, or params. Maybe I usually call it args because arguments. And then I can access these arguments, args, like this. Oh yeah, this is like, as you can see, they all are actually arrays. If you have an array, I can use reduce because we are adding. So let's also, use the list, the skills we have developed already. Then do reduce, and then you remember accumulator and the current value, and then you just sum up the accumulator plus the current. Of course, we can do it in an old-fashioned way and just return this value 21. Yes, it's so clean. But since we don't have much things going on here, we can do explicit return over here, as you can see. Oh yeah, this code is good enough for us to create the add all numbers together. Yes. So this spread operator is also can be used with functions like this. Okay, so as you can see, what did this spread actually do inside this? It changed all these values to an array. Oh, and that's what you need about this destructuring arrays, destructuring objects. It's very important. Maybe the last I would like to show you, when you start to React, you may see some kind of corners. You may say count and set count, something like that, and you may say use a state. What is that? Maybe. Okay, let me just create something that you can ask. Okay, let's create a use state. We call this use state, and it's going to be actually an array. Okay, and this array, it has, the first one is X, and it could be whatever. You can call it 0 maybe, and then the second item is going to be Y, and I am going to create a function. Yeah, so this function, wait, whatever, I think I have to this just 0. And the second one is actually a function. And this function may have whatever, I can say something like this, and return something for the time being. Okay, now if I just show you const, I can destructure this X, and the second one is Y, and then I can destructure it from use state. So if you just destructure this like this, yeah, what do we get? Let's see what I get from X. I will show you first. Console.log X. It says that use,
right?
No, sorry, it's not a function, so it just use state 0. Yeah, you're right. Console.log. If I destructure Y, as you can see, it just return function. How about if I invoke this function after, oh, something, do something, do something. Yeah, but array is just lame, right? Array is lame. So instead, user state, let's change user state to a function. Okay. At the end, let's return something like this. Okay, now it makes sense somehow. So it takes a parameter. Maybe the first parameter could be just a count, and then the count will be used here in this value. So how about, and also count is going to be here as in one value, and then it's going to be count plus something, some value coming all the time that could be added at some point, but just normally just one. Let me show you. Now it's not anymore. So how about if I say 0? When we I think before destructuring, I have to show you by calling this function console.log use state. And if I just pass 0, have you seen the values? I think you saw the values already. 0 and a function. Okay. Now you can destructure that in what way? You can actually destructure X and Y, but instead, the first one is the count. And the second one, we call it most of the time, if that's set count. Okay. Now, hey, count and set count. As you can see, the count is actually 0. The set count function is giving me 1. So don't be freaked out when you see something like user state and you pass something here. But the set count function in React is robust. Sometimes you can make it something like this, and you can make it a string, and you can make it objects. Is that possible to make it? Yes, it's possible to make it. We don't have to build the user state function now, you and I together, and spend quite a lot. What I want to show you, the structure looks like this. The user state checks first what kind of data type, and then introduce and return one value here and another function here. And that function allows you to modify this. And you destructure it, hey, the first value from here and the other function. And this function allows you to set the state when some event is triggered. Yes, let's close today's lesson here. I hope you have learned how to use set and map, and of course, destructuring and spreading. Especially destructuring and spreading is very, very important when it comes to modern JavaScript libraries.